Kevin Sizemore. Kevin, how's it going today? How are you feeling?
Hey, Kenny, how are you? What's up, Chris?
What's up, Kevin? Man, welcome to 48 minutes a game. We're in quarter two. Now, you know as well as I know there's four quarters in a game, but the second quarter is the almost the most important quarter because it's closing out the first half.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you for coming on today. And what we're looking at today, we're going to be looking at branding and marketing. And I know with you being in the field of being an actor and being in the field of writing, I think it's really important that we educate our viewers on how to pursue a career as an actor. That would be my first question to you.
Great. Yeah. Well, first off, love the new do, bro. All right. I haven't seen your new do. And since I'm in the second quarter, I feel like I'm the sixth man, right? I'm coming off the bench. So this is great.
This is great.
Yeah. To pursue as an actor, you got to look at that from a different few levels. Are you looking at it from a child standpoint? Well, if that's a standpoint, I've been through that because I have a son who's 16 who used to be a child actor. He's a voiceover actor now. He does voiceovers for shows like Kung Fu Panda, Craig of the Creek, all those types of projects. He's now moving into the voiceover world, which he's always been into, and directing and writing. So I'm seeing it from that standpoint. And from that standpoint, if you're trying to get into the acting world there, you got to take classes, man. You got to get in some classes. But you got to find the right classes that speaks to you, because there's about 1 billion acting classes out here, and probably half of them aren't really any good, to tell you the truth. It's
Right.
Just,
so how do you comb through that and find the right ones that can really help you?
Trial by error. It's going to be trial by error. You're probably going to hit one or two or three that are not going to land, but it's just like with the basketball coach, they come to two or three coaches and it's okay. But then they find Chris Johnson. They go, dude, this is the guy. He connects with me. And listen, acting is not really acting, because when I was talking to my son when he was 5, and I said, son, when you're playing the character, you have to do it this way. You got to stop acting. And at 5 years old, he goes, why do they call it acting, Dad? It's a good point, right? You just gotta be. It's like playing basketball. Once you know the game, just play.
You just play the game. You can't overthink the game, because 100%. Now it takes away from your you being original and being authentic.
Yeah, your creativity is part of who you are. And I tell people this at whatever age you are, 5, 15, 35. No one can do what you do as an actor. And they go, what do you mean? I'm nothing special. No, what I mean by that is I have certain things that there's no way you can do. And you have things there's no way I can do it. So
that's the separation.
We're different,
so you can always, so I'm looking at the advice, because this is like great information. So for people that are like, you want to mirror someone, you look up to different actresses and actors, and you kind of want to mirror them. But what you're saying is just focus on being very authentic to who you are, because no one else can be you.
100%. One of my favorite actors is Sam Elliott. I don't have Sam Elliott's voice. Never will. It's not going to happen. I can still emulate what he does and his mannerisms and his style, but I still have to make it my own, because that's who I am. When you walk into a casting director's door, well, nowadays, when you log on to a casting director's screen, whatever it may be, but when you used to walk in back in the day, and I've been on the casting side, casting films that I've produced, within 3 to 5 seconds, if that person remotely is the character visually.
Right.
When they open their mouth, it's either going to be an asset or not. So now if they walk in and they look the part, and, it's supposed to be this big buff dude, and they go, hey, how you doing? You're like, oh my God, what was that?
Yeah.
They got to blow you away in their audition to make the role happen. Or they walk in and they're like, hey, how you doing? They go, oh my gosh, this guy's great. And they open their mouth to read and they can't put a sentence together. So there's all these variables, man. And then it's not just one person casting the person, it's multiple people. But let's throw back to your original thing. When you're looking for a class,
right,
it's trial by error. You're going to get into a few, and you've got to feel like you've accomplished something when you leave that class. First off, you got to have fun. I don't care what
Right.
age you are. You've got to have fun. You got to get something out of the class. And if you can feel growth, and then when your agents, when you get representation, they see that growth, you're in the right place.
So when you mentioned voiceovers,
Yeah.
and like I've always kind of like thought about the voiceover, but like I think that's a great avenue. And
That's happening.
it's a great avenue. So how do you get into you say classes? What would be the next way? Do you hire an agent? How would I get into the voiceover industry?
Yeah, the voiceover industry is probably one of the hardest industries other than the stunt community to get into. Why? Because everyone wants to do it. My son, we have a studio in our house, and like I said, he's been doing this since he's 5. The 2 days last week, my son did 2 shows. He's done shows all through COVID. He's one of the few people that I know that has not been affected by work, because he walks right into his studio in the house, into the back room, and he does his shows. He patches in on a hard wire. They fix it. They shoot it. I mean, they record it, and it's it. Me, you have to see my face as an actor.
You got to be there. Right.
Not him. So that's the hardest
Wow.
thing, man. I wish I could tell you how to get an agent. The best way is to jump into a class of, again, it's a class of people who teach you how to do the voiceover world, because there's different parts of voiceover. There's voiceover for cartoons and all that stuff, commercials, but there's also something called ADR, which is audio digital replacement, which means when the movie is shot and everyone's quiet and there's 100 people in this room and we're doing this scene, no one's talking except me and you. Everyone's going.
Yep.
Then when they go into the studio and they show the movie, they bring in actors like Gunnar, like me, like you, like whoever, and we fill in. It's called peas and carrots. You might hear me go. You might hear me go, "Hey, what time is it, Bob?" And you hear someone go, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's so hot in here." And then you hear, "Mom, I'm tired." And they take all those voices and drop it in the scene, and that's how they get the movie done. So it's a long process.
So we had a question.
Yeah.
Kennedy, can you bring that question in? The importance of headshots for new actors.
Yeah, well, let's say new actors who have an agent. Let's say that, and I'll give you both sides of it.
Okay.
Shots of an actor that has a good agent. It's good. It's not as important to have new headshots. It's important to have a headshot that looks like you.
Okay.
That's really what it is. And if you don't have an agent, that's where you might want to spruce it up a little bit, maybe try to be a little cooler, because you're like, dude, I got to get a job. Please hook me up. Just look at me. Right. Because I don't want everyone going out and spending all this money. And I'm going through that with one of my friends right now. I don't want them to spend all their money and then they go find an agent, and the agent goes, yeah, these shots are okay. Because that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
So you should definitely find an agent first, and then go through the process of maybe potentially getting your headshots.
If you're lucky to do that, yes. But here's what I'm really meaning. Don't spend tons of money on those headshots and get 12 different looks. Find 1 or 2 photos that you like and get one good session, spend a few $100 and go with these guys, right? Here's my 2 photographs. Because when you go to that agent, when you do get that agent, they're probably going to want you to reshoot anyway. Probably.
We got another good question. Bring that up from Marlon, Kennedy. It says, how old is too old to start getting into acting? I'm 26.
I moved to California when I was 26. There's your answer.
So there's your answer.
Marlon,
what was your first?
What
was your first movie? Okay, go ahead.
Well, here's what my first project I ever did was I was a little extra in a Maxwell House coffee commercial in West Virginia, where I grew up when I was 17. But you're going to love this. My first actual role I ever did was on a show called Meadowlark with Andy Griffith. But that's not the good part. The good part is I played a basketball player.
Oh, that's dope. Cool. I want to see that scene. Right.
Yeah. So, but Marlon, here's one thing I will tell you. If you're in California, it's going to be a little harder, bro. I would recommend, if you're back east, tap into the back east market, the Nashvilles, the Tennessees, the Atlanta, Georgias, the Louisvilles. They are on fire because of the way COVID's happening right now. Back east, you're getting more work than we are out here. That's why I'm producing so much. I'm producing like crazy now. That's why.
What was your first gig? You said it was a Meadowlark.
That was my first, it wasn't my first really big gig. My first guest star
Right.
was a show called Pensacola Wings of Gold. That was my first guest star. And that was with
Okay.
James Brolin. But one of my claims to fame that I just fell in love with, man, is I was able to work with Dick Van Dyke on Diagnosis Murder back in the day. I mean, I worked with Dick Van Dyke. I worked with Andy Griffith.
That's not too bad at all.
That was back in the day. And now, as you well know, I have the Meadowlark Lemon documentary that I'm still.
That's what I was going to talk to you about. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So Kennedy, give us. We're gonna go in just a little bit, 2 minutes before we go into halftime. So with that Meadowlark Lemon project that you're working on, because I want people to know about it. I want my viewers to know about it, and a lot of my viewers are NBA guys or in the basketball world. So can you give us a quick synopsis of the project and where you want it to go and where it's at right now?
Sure. There's two areas. We have it at a place right now over in Burbank, and they're shopping it, which is great. But the Meadowlark Lemon story, if you don't know who Meadowlark Lemon is, he was the face of the Globetrotters. He was the clown prince of basketball. And we're showing you his life story from a kid who saw a picture reel when he was just a young child. And he sees this video of the Harlem Globetrotters. And from that moment on, that's all he ever wanted to be. He had 36 scholarship offers. Didn't want to take any of them. He just wanted to be a Harlem Globetrotter. And he did. And it's a tragic, there's some tragic stories involved in there. He ended up becoming a pastor when it was all said and done. He's no longer with us, unfortunately. But we're doing the documentary first, and then hopefully we have the opportunity to do the feature. And, it's kind of weird, man. I'm falling into some weird projects because, I have the founder of ESPN as a documentary as well. And then just last week, I got the rights to co-produce a project called Coaches. I can't tell you who the coaches are, but I will tell you this. There are 2 coaches in college basketball that if I gave you the initials of each one of them, you would go, dude, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Right.
It's huge. This one's a game changer. So I've been affiliated with a lot of these producing projects, and I'm just giving you the sports ones, not the other ones.
Right.
Because of the platform we're on. But I'll tell you one thing that your viewers would love, man, and I know you don't know much about this, is my wife just launched her podcast.
Yeah.
It's called Health Interrupted Podcast. And you can find it healthinterruptedpodcast.com. They've just dropped their first 4 episodes, but their 3rd episode is an athlete, and her name is Stephanie. And she was a college 18, 19-year-old at USC going into film school. A drunk driver hit her while she was standing on the side of the road, took off both of her legs. 30 years later, she's a 5-time Paralympic gold medalist. You got to hear that podcast. Now, it's not. Yeah, my wife Gina and her co-host is former Miss America Laura Kepler, and my wife Gina is a strength and conditioning coach, as you well know. And 2 of them are so invested in these stories, and it's something I think your audience, since it's about health, would love. And you're going to be on the show too to talk about your basketball players with their health interruptions.
Absolutely. I'm definitely joining.
Hold on, Coach. Kevin, I know you got to pull me out for halftime. I know, Coach. 30 seconds. Just let me shoot one more time.
Kevin, what's up?
What's up, Logan?
How you doing?
Good, brother. Hey,
we gotta make a quick audible.
If I want to be the 6th man, the only reason I played longer is because Logan was in the bathroom. So I'll come off the court now. Let him take over.
Yeah, we got to make a quick audible. Kennedy's having some connection problems. But Kevin, go ahead and shout out any social media or any projects you have upcoming that anyone can check you out in.
Yeah, you can find me all on social media at Kevin Sizemore, KevinSizemore. I am now currently co-hosting with Gunner a new show called The Miracle Show. It's on Questar Entertainment. It's going to be coming out in the next few weeks, maybe. It's all about positive, just good stories about people. How did you overcome those things? It's not other than you're in a bad situation and you overcame them. And of course, check out healthinterruptedpodcast.com. That's it.
We're tuning in.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yes,
appreciate it. Bye-bye.